Welcome to the deep dive. This is where we take source material, sometimes articles, sometimes research. Today, it's something really interesting you sent in.
Yeah, we dig into it, pull out the key insights, the frameworks, maybe just those useful nuggets so you feel genuinely informed, without wading through everything yourself.
Our job is basically to guide you through it, help you see what's important, and maybe what you can take away from it.
And today, well, it's quite unique, isn't it? We're diving into a personal week in review document from one of you listening.
Exactly. It's this really comprehensive look at one person's progress, week 22 of 2025, across, well, a whole bunch of different areas of their life.
It really is. It's like a detailed self-assessment. Covers everything from health stats to creative stuff, learning new skills, even chores like decluttering.
Right. And gardening,
Yeah.
photography. It's a real snapshot.
So we get to see what they focused on, what happened, the results, and maybe the most interesting part is what we can learn from just the act of tracking things so broadly.
Yeah, that's our mission here. Not just to list what they did, but to figure out the value in this kind of tracking. What insights pop out when you look at health, hobbies, home life all together?
Do patterns emerge? Do you see connections you'd miss otherwise? That's what we want to explore.
So the list includes, let's see, health, meditation, cooking, decluttering, reading, coding, writing, fish keeping, gardening, and photography. Wow.
It's a huge range.
Yeah.
Really shows an effort to integrate improvement across their whole life, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. So, okay, let's plan this. We'll go through it section by section, pull out the specifics, talk about what jumps out, and see what lessons this whole approach might offer you, the listener, whatever your own goals are.
Sounds good. Let's unpack it. Where do we start?
Let's start with health. The document itself sets this up nicely. It says the purpose is to empower myself to pursue other things actively and healthily by improving your quality of life in the long run.
That's a great framing. Health isn't just a goal in itself. It's like the foundation for everything else they want to do.
Right. And first up, under health, sleep tracking. They aimed for 7 hours a night,
And the average.
7.14 hours for the week. So pretty much bang on that common recommendation.
Okay, but averages can hide things, right? Did they mention consistency?
They did. That's where it gets interesting. They noted it was inconsistent, some good nights, but also nights with only like 5 hours.
Okay.
And they mentioned naps probably helped the average, but those naps were needed because the main sleep was fragmented.
Right. And the really fascinating bit here is they connect the better nights, the improvement, to a recent diet adjustment they made.
Yes, that's key. It's not just I slept X hours, it's I slept better because I changed my diet. They're actively looking for those links between habits.
That's a huge insight to get from your own tracking, making
Yeah.
those connections.
Okay, next metric, steps. Aiming for 5,600 daily.
And the result.
The weekly average was 5,336, so a little under the goal.
They called it moderately active, which seems about right. What stood out to you there?
What I found interesting was the note that they didn't try to deliberately walk more just to, hit the number.
Oh, why not?
They said they're trying to adjust their lifestyle so steps increase more naturally. They want it to stick long term.
Ah, that's smart. Focusing on sustainable change rather than just gaming the metric for the week. That's a good insight into their mindset.
Definitely. Then there's intermittent fasting. Target was 16.8.
Standard approach.
Yeah.
16 hours fasting, 8-hour eating window. How'd they do?
Stuck to it most days. Just one day off, apparently due to a late dinner after taking a long nap. Life happens, right?
Exactly. And they tracked weight alongside this.
Yep. Average for the week was 67.83 kilograms, and they saw a net decrease of 0.75 kilograms over the week. So positive trend there.
Okay. Any specifics on the weight tracking?
Yeah, this is interesting too. They noted a slight weight increase on one particular day, and they specifically linked it to a certain type of food they'd eaten, saying they had seen that pattern before.
See, that's the power of detailed tracking again. Daily weight jumps around, that's normal. But knowing that specific food tends to cause a bump for them, that's actionable. Turns data into personal knowledge.
Absolutely. They also track their diet composition, aiming for a 2.1.1 ratio plans to protein to carbs.
How close are they?
They note they're still closer to 1.2.2. So carbs and protein higher than planned, plants lower.
Okay, so the tracking identified the gap.
Exactly. And they specifically call out needing to increase fiber, aiming for 400-500 grams of veggies or fruit daily.
So they know the goal, know where they are, and know what needs to change. Even with a mix of home cooking, takeout, and acknowledging cheat days, that awareness is key. The tracking is doing its job, highlighting improvement areas.
And finally, for health, they mentioned doing brief workouts, but also realizing that other daily stuff, walking after meals, socializing, gardening, even house chores like sweeping, provides significant physical activity.
Recognizing the activity embedded in daily life.
Yeah, though they are still looking for a small, efficient daily exercise routine to add in.
Okay, so if we zoom out on the health section, what's the big takeaway?
For me, it's the power of tracking multiple related things, sleep, steps, food, weight, and then actively looking for the connections between them.
Right, seeing how diet affects sleep for them or how specific foods impact their weight. It's not just data points, it's building a personal understanding. It's holistic.
Exactly. It gets beyond just looking at habits one by one. Okay, let's shift gears slightly. Next up is meditation.
Framed as exercising the mind. What did the tracking show?
Well, they reported sporadic sitting sessions. Length varied a lot, some just a minute, others maybe 6 minutes, sometimes counting breaths.
So not super consistent in terms of dedicated sits.
Seems like it. But what's interesting is how they talk about integrating it. They say nothing particular, just regular sitting, but also mention doing walking meditation sometimes during walks or while raking leaves or doing chores.
So it's not just about the cushion time. It's finding mindful moments in everyday activities too. That's a different approach.
Yeah. And crucially, they also tracked their mental state. They noted thoughts and feelings.
And what did they observe?
They reported feeling significantly more calm and stoic than usual this week.
Oh, interesting. Any reason why?
Yes. And again, they make a connection. They explicitly link this calmer mental state back to the improved sleep quality they tracked in the health section.
Wow. Okay, that's a powerful link to observe firsthand. Better sleep leading to a calmer mind for them. Tracking both, let them see that correlation. How often do we consciously connect those dots,
It really makes you think. Okay, let's move on to cooking. The goal here is about taking control of consumption and learning a skill.
Right. Any specific targets mentioned?
One was learning to prep vegetables quickly. And they mentioned regularly making miso soup with veggies, prawn, and tofu. So progress there.
Okay, sounds like a good staple. Anything else?
They also had a goal to try different egg recipes, but only made hard-boiled eggs this week.
Okay. So that one didn't quite happen.
Exactly. And that's a good example from the document. It shows a specific goal where, well, progress was limited that particular week.
Which is just as important to note, right? Knowing what didn't get attention is part of the review. Helps understand where time and focus went or didn't go.
Precisely. Following that is decluttering, tied to a goal of a minimalist lifestyle.
What was their strategy?
A simple one. Clear one item from anywhere in the house on the way to the kitchen.
The one item a day approach. Tiny habits.
Yeah. A classic, small, consistent habit builder. They report clearing small things, mostly from the garage and a balcony.
It might seem small week by week, but cumulatively, that kind of low-friction habit can really add up over time. That's an inside itself sustainable change through tiny steps.
True. But they also list bigger decluttering tasks where there was no progress, like needing new curtains, dealing with a neglected drawer.
The bigger projects that hang around.
Exactly. And there's a long pending painting job for some guardrails mentioned here. It also pops up later in the gardening section.
Oh, interesting overlap.
Yeah, and the note says it's now on the way to being addressed because the weather's finally suitable.
So that shows the reality, doesn't it? A mix of small wins from the daily habit and larger projects that stall, sometimes waiting on external things like weather. Tracking both gives the full picture.
And the painting task appearing twice highlights how different goals can sometimes overlap or even compete for time.
Good point. Okay, what's next?
Reading. Goals here are about improving writing, consuming wisely, and boosting mental health.
What were they reading?
They report making progress on a book about managing the 3 highs: blood pressure, blood sugar, blood lipids.
So directly related to their health goals.
Oh,
Makes
yeah.
sense. Managing metabolic health.
Yep. And they also mentioned spending 5–10 minutes daily just browsing various books. This week it was skimming some fiction and gardening books.
So a mix of focused learning and broader kind of exploratory reading, a habit of just engaging with books regularly.
Seems like it. Okay, coding is next, focused on building, learning, and contributing to floss.
Free, Libre, and open source software.
Right.
What was the goal?
Daily pull request contributions, PRs, to specific programming language communities or relevant projects.
Okay, daily contributions. That sounds ambitious. How did they manage that?
This is where we get a really cool insight, I think. They report hopping through GitHub repositories addressing trivial typos across various projects.
Trivial typos, not big bug fixes or features.
Nope, just fixing typos. But think about it, by doing that daily, across different projects, they're consistently engaging, building the habit, contributing something small but useful, all in a very low friction way.
That's actually really clever. It's a tactic for staying engaged and contributing consistently without needing huge chunks of time or deep focus every single day. Consistent, manageable involvement.
Exactly. It's a strategy for engagement, not just output. They also mention working on their own recreation pet projects, specifically migrating a Python project's package management from Pip&V to UV.
Ah, okay. Just developer tools for managing libraries. So
Yeah.
personal project work alongside the community stuff.
Right. They note there are still many steps pending on that migration, but they're continuing to tweak it. It shows that balance the small daily community hits and the larger, slower personal projects.
Makes sense. What about writing?
Goal there is communicating thoughts and documenting progress, aiming to publish 2 posts per day and read old posts.
2 posts a day. Wow. Did they manage that?
They report more random writing on topics that caught my attention or whatever I fancy. So it sounds like they hit the volume goal. 2 posts daily is consistent output.
But maybe not on specific planned topics.
Seems that way. The random writing note suggests it was more spontaneous this week, and they explicitly note nothing on this for a sub-goal of blogging about interesting PRs or libraries from their coding work.
Okay, so tracking reveals. Quantity goal met, but maybe some specific content goals were missed. Again, it helps see where the effort actually went versus the plan.
Exactly. Now, we move into a few areas where the progress this week was, let's say, less visible in the notes. First, fish keeping.
Aimed at experiencing joy and breeding, the notes say.
Yeah, but the update is they're still thinking about how to use a specific yellow-blue rack for both gardening and fish keeping. And they haven't found the right species yet for some outdoor plastic container ponds.
So still in the planning or contemplation phase for those aspects.
Pretty much. Then gardening. Goals, health, nature connection, learning a skill.
Any movement there?
Some. They mention propagating cuttings, which is progress, but they haven't started seed germination yet.
Why not?
The document notes it's pending the purchase of a grow light. They need it to resume indoor germination.
Ah, a dependency. That's common, right? Progress blocked because you need a specific tool or resource.
Yeah.
Not lack of desire, just a practical hurdle.
Exactly. They also mention resuming the painting of those guardrails here again, linking back to decluttering and prepping their gardening workspace, because the weather's finally good.
Right. That connection again.
And finally,
Photography, goal S, capturing memories and creativity. The specific action listed was finding the best macro lens for a mobile phone.
and the update.
Simply says nothing on this. Okay, so these last few areas, the fish setup, the gardening seeds, the photo lens, they're on a list, but no real action this particular week.
Right, and tracking these stalled or slower areas is just as useful, isn't it?
Absolutely. It tells them where focus didn't go or where barriers like dependencies or maybe just energy levels exist.
Yeah.
It completes the weekly picture. You need to know what's not moving as much as what is.
Yeah, it helps spot bottlenecks or just acknowledges where priorities lay for those 7 days.
So looking across this whole review, all these diverse areas,
Yeah.
what really strikes you?
For me, it's just the sheer breadth of it all, tracking so many different personal goals at the same time, and the conscious effort to see how they connect.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. It really speaks to the power of detailed self-reflection, doesn't it? Across multiple parts of life.
Totally. We saw how they spotted patterns, like certain foods and weight, and how they linked things you might not normally connect, like sleep quality potentially affecting their overall calmness.
Right. This kind of comprehensive review, it stops being just a logbook.
Yeah.
Becomes a tool, really. A tool for understanding the complex ways different parts of your life influence each other.
Yeah, how habits in one area ripple out. It helps bring insights to the surface that you probably miss if you were just laser focused on one goal at a time.
Exactly. So bringing it back to you, the listener, how could trying something like this, even just tracking a few areas you care about, help you understand your own progress, your challenges, your growth areas across different parts of your life?
It definitely makes you wonder.
And it raises a really important question, I think. What is the benefit of consistently reviewing progress across lots of different goals? Especially when some areas, like we saw here, show little or no movement in a week.
How does tracking the stalled stuff actually help compared to just, ignoring it until you make progress?
Yeah. What insight comes from acknowledging the lack of movement? What could you start tracking this week? Maybe just a couple of things.
What connections might you find in your own life between, say, your energy levels and what you read,
Hmm.
or your social time and your creative output? What unexpected links might pop up if you looked?
Lots to think about there. Until the next deep dive, keep exploring.